One. So, hello. Today we're here with Alexandra Fraser Duran. I hope somehow mix those two up. I don't know why.
That's okay.
And Alexandra is going to tell us a little bit more about herself. So, Alexandra, let's jump right in there. Who are you and what do you do?
Okay, thank you, Leslie, for this interview. Yeah, my name is Alexandra. I am a holistic intuitive therapist. I trained over 15 years ago in England, where I started having all sorts of dreams and intuitions about working with people. So my first therapy I learned was Reiki and Reflexology, and I was just hooked. I absolutely loved it, and I work very much intuitively with people, so I take them into an experience on a journey, more kind of that kind of thing. And so back those days, I trained also in the Christie Hospital in Manchester, which have an amazing department for complementary therapies. So I was quite fortunate to be surrounded by all these people who worked with cancer patients, using healing, reflexology, aromatherapy, visualization, meditation, the whole lot. And it was very powerful. And also the first time I encountered people who were terminal, you know, working on feet. And then that kind of woke me up a little bit to remembering about my grandma, how I used to talk about death and how it's important that we talk about it openly. And that was, I was only 30 at the time. And I thought, wow, these people are actually talking so openly about death and how, what they could have done or what's next or what's going to happen. So, but yeah, reflexology seemed to open a book or kind of an area where you're kind of exploring, you know, reflexology is all about applying pressure to the feet, and then you find, you know, the theories that they have organs related, you know, to your body. So as you open those kind of doors, things start to shift in people, and suddenly some people start to talk about their lives or their experiences. And I think I'm more about emotions. So I link every organ to an emotion. So we're going through the heart, you know, it's not that they're having a heart attack or something, it's just maybe a deep heart. Or if we're going through the liver, then we can talk a little bit of anger or upset or something repressed. So my job is to take people into an experience, whether it's reflexology, facial reflexology, hand reflexology. I also use Bach flower remedies and holistic kinesiology. And yeah, I love it. I absolutely love. And when they come into my treatment room, it's very much about, if they come for reflexology, I do that, but they might need maybe a little bit of tap in the air with a bit of pendulum work or a bit of Bach flower remedies here. So
yeah, it's never just the one thing, is it? It's never just, it's basically you have to have a lot of tools in the box in order to make this an experience that is holistic in the way that it can be. If you just do one thing, and I think that's why a lot of people who, like us, who do complementary therapies, we don't just do one. We don't.
That's right.
We might specialize. That might be our primary area, but you know, when you get the diagnostic kind of ding, oh, hang on a minute, you're telling me, your energy's telling me that this has to happen or that has to happen, and I just happen to know where I can put my hand on that. So it's, but what you said earlier about linking the organs with emotions, I find that highly interesting, because I'm very much in the same manner of thing. And in NLP, there's a thing called submodalities, which you ask people, where is it? Where are you holding it? And people don't realize, and it's like talking about death, people don't realize it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So you might as well talk about it, because do you know what? It's inevitable.
Absolutely. And I think it's so important, because generally we are in the society in the West, we don't talk about it as a taboo, you know. And my grandma, I was born in Colombia, so we used to talk about so many subjects, and one of them was death, as if, you know, the little boy or man will come in a boat and will take you. So the question will be, what will you take with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't a thing, it was an emotion or an experience that you'll take with you, right? It
Yeah,
could
I mean
be,
that links into the shamanic past life situation, where
yeah,
we go back to a life and find out what it is in that life that's come through to this one, and is actually making you ill,
yeah,
dis in a dis-ease.
yeah.
And basically we go back to that life and heal that one. We don't stop the life from ending, but we heal that particular pain. We let it lie there, we let it stay there, so that in this life you can go on and be more free. But still there's so much going on about where we hold things in life, and it's in our language, isn't it? I mean, it's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
oh, when when somebody's got I think, oh, I can't swallow that, or I feel it in my gut, I feel it in my
yeah.
water. And it's this thing about feeling. We, even people who are more scientifically, cynically based, will turn around and say things like, oh, I've got a funny feeling about that. Everything comes to feeling, and
Every,
each of the organs has a power that way.
absolutely, absolutely. And last year, before all COVID, I did a workshop on visualization and focusing on an organ at a time. So I did of being gratitude, thanking love and gratitude to the liver. It's such a big organ with so many functions, and yet we never think of individual and say thank you for the job you do.
Mm.
You are amazing. And the liver carries, in general, when people have a lot of anger for a long time, or someone that's not been forgiven, it tends to carry a lot of toxins. So when we talk about detox, not only physically, but also detox of the mind and the emotional, because it's such a heavy luggage we carry. Sometimes you're just doing, it's almost like a balloon. I always think it's one emotion at a time, so we can start letting go if we can. And sometimes people aren't ready to go there, but when they are, really magic can happen, and it's fascinating to watch. I mean, I'm just thinking in my mind, a customer, a client that I see, a woman, she's lovely, and then the liver keeps popping up, and I could just feel it talking to me. And so I'm saying, right, let's just talk about the liver. I'm gonna tell you what it's like. And suddenly she just opened up. She had gone through hell of a lot of stuff in her life, but that in itself, within 2 weeks, she said, you know what, I feel so much lighter just by being able to speak about it. So yeah, all this emotion, and as you said, past life, we can carry things from our moms, and we'll have to recognize if this is ours, or this is my mom or my dad or my ancestors, and then just stop it right there. We can just not repeat patterns.
Yeah.
And also talking in a vocabulary that we don't say, my mom had that, and I'm having it. No.
That seems to be the natural way for people to think, though, because they immediately go to, oh, it must be hereditary. And yet we have physical hereditary things, but we also have emotional hereditary things. And that's a mindset,
Yeah.
because we're taught that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the manipulation of reflexology, and I know because I've had some, is an amazing tool to be able to shift energy, the chi energy particularly, that's in there. Because what you're doing when you're manipulating these organ patches on the soles of your feet, your hands, or in your face, then you're actually helping the dam burst to a certain way. You're draining, it's like a drainage of all the gunk,
Yeah.
emotional gunk.
Absolutely. And sometimes people can feel rubbish. Sometimes we call it what's called healing crisis, and it doesn't have to happen. But when you've gone, you're literally shifting. You might not feel that great after,
Oh
you have.
no, my goodness. I think it's one of the things that we have to do. It's like a government health warning. You will feel like, and it will be hard, but it didn't take you 5 minutes to get that stuff in there. It's not going to take you 5 minutes to get it back out again.
Absolutely. And I think is this thought of, I like the Dr. Bruce Lipton, our biology, our biography becomes our biology, so whatever we think on or we do, it's like yesterday I slept in my knee, and I know why. And I think I always think whatever happens, sometimes we rush in life and we don't make the pause. We don't take the pause. And sometimes we just need to stop and don't get angry about things. That was just a simple example, but I knew I was rushing, I was angry, I was upset, and yet my body literally went. stopped.
Yeah, yeah. And 2020 is the year of the great pause.
Pretty much.
And you know, we would be remiss to let it go without actually recognizing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to recognize that, because most of the things that people we see is stomachs are overstressed. You know, we think too much. The kidneys are overloaded. You know, kidneys is very much fear. So when people, either you're what you call a backbone, the people that are strong, you know, or people that are spineless, you know, just very fearful of everything. So, and the kidney is an interesting energy. I think that is one of those that you have it quite strong and you master it. You know, you feel that maybe a little bit of fear, but you do it anyway. But a lot of people get caught up in that panic, paralyzed thinking that is like, I'm going to, but I'm going to, but.
It's interesting that you say that, because at the moment I've got a picture of the adrenals sitting right on top of the kidneys. And I'm thinking about the fact that the adrenals are the flight, fright, or fight. And how it is that when you get really, really scared, you feel like you're going to pee yourself. Yeah. You know, and that's what the kidneys do. It flushes everything right out of you and makes the bladder full. So you need to vent that bladder in order to run.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah,
so
yeah,
that makes complete amygdala sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think the adrenal, we're in such a fight and flight response most of the time, you know, as if, and the body kind of function like that. So that's probably why some of the therapies we do here, you put that, you know, you work on the parasympathetic nervous system, people relaxes. And then sometimes I've had people to have to rush to the toilet because they've lost all control of the muscles. So, you know, and that's normal as well. It's just suddenly everything relaxes. And that's why when you let go, start letting go, things start to shift and people start feeling like, oh, I've never felt like this before, you know. And I said, do you know what? I don't do the work. You come with an open mind. I'll give you a seat and you do the rest.
Yeah, you garden. Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing. And some people want quick fixes. And again, it's about teaching people that it's taking this much to get to where you are. So it's not going to happen overnight. And if you want to do the work, great. You know, and I think I'm in that stage where people have, if you don't want to do the work, there's no point.
Exactly. And the thing is that gets me at the moment is that there are so many of us around, and this is how this Therapists in Conversation got to become what it is because I thought there are so many therapists out there with different modalities of healing. Why don't we all get together and share our knowledge and let people know we're still out there? But at the same time, we have so much of this available, and particularly for end-of-life care, which is very important because your idea of control of what you're doing with your body, what you're doing with your mind goes right out of the window. And people talk about you in the same room as if you weren't there already. So it's one of those things that, how can we not recognize that this is a necessity and have more hospitals with more of those facilities and take some of the back-breaking work off them, off their shoulders? Because a lot of healing has got to do with mental attitude, mindset, and the belief that they're either going to get better or they're going to get worse. So while we're here, this is why we need people like you and everybody else who's on there and other people who are going to come in to this group and do these recordings and let people know it's okay. You don't have to be in flight response all the time. And I think that's what it is. We're balancing. We're getting the scales to balance because we have this neocortex that's going, yes, I can think this and I have wonderful thoughts here and I'm in the quantum space. And then you have this little limbic system at the back going, yeah, but I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to make you really, really scared because I can. You know, it's like little Dr. Evil thing going on.
Oh yeah, the chatterbox is real.
Yeah. Real. So when you're doing that, how do people get to know where you are and who you are and what you're doing, apart from this?
Yeah, well, I was up to last year. I was a carer of my daughter who was born very premature with Down syndrome. So my clinic up to that point, I was working from home and other places. But when she was born, everything kind of stopped. And in a way, that's part of my journey as well, because she was born, we spent 5 months in the hospital, and I did constant reflexology, massage, and the nurses used to call me from Cebu saying, she's been constipated, so come for massage, and I'll do that for her, and that will work. We did Reiki. So once she started school last year, I opened up a clinic from home. So I am in Broughty Ferry, Dundee. I'm only doing one-to-one at the moment, but my next idea at the moment is to do some basic tips online for people to learn how to use certain tools for anxiety, stress. You know, I use tapping a lot, or some Bach flower remedies, or visualization, so people can go through life a little bit better having those tools. We expect, you know, things to come from a pill or the doctor telling us this, when we have resources within ourselves if we stop for a minute. And that's why we have to come to stillness. You know, we give ourselves 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we can just put the pause, meditate, or just give ourselves that visualization or that boost to start the day, and we can carry on. So yeah, that's my next plan. But at the moment, I'm only doing, I have a Facebook page called Maya Holistic Therapist, and you can find it on Facebook at the moment. So there you go.
An email address?
Yeah, it's sasita27@yahoo.com.
Okay, that's great. Now, the other thing that I was going to say to you was, having come from Colombia, and you have this great tradition of family and ancestry, do you think that perhaps you have become the healer due to some of the teachings from your grandparents?
Yeah, I think so. I think even the dreams, I believe in dreams, I have a lot of vision dreams that kind of tell me what should I do, or sometimes it's just a feeling I can't explain. But my gran used to work a lot with plants, with secret medicine plants as well, and there was a part of my ancestors were indigenous people, so it was all about, I used to cut coconut with a machete at the age of 10. So it was very much being in nature, you know, and being grateful for the tree that provided with the foods, being grateful for the cotton that we could able to pick up. And I think because we have lost that now, kids don't do that anymore, you know. We used to touch the leaves and then just say, thank you, you know, this is great. Or just touch the earth, or be in bare feet. So I think the community spirit has to regain some momentum now, you know. We can just, or the touch, you know, we're now having a touchless society where we can't do so many things at the moment, and that is human importance for our survival. You know?
Yeah, we're very touchy-feely, even those of us who decide that perhaps that's not for us. We still need the presence and the touch of something.
But yeah, I think Colombia for me definitely has a very importance in my upbringing, because everything was very organic. We used to go to not even a supermarket, it was a market in the streets. We used to pick potatoes from people that was just literally it was dirty potatoes, you know, and nothing looked nice as everything looks in the supermarket. Everything.
Strangely, I remember potatoes like that from the local grocer. I do remember. I'm that old.
You don't look old. You look great.
That's magic, you see. But it's one of those things that again, the hereditary stuff that we carry forward can be good. Doesn't have to all be bad. It can be a useful tool to have. So thinking about the ways that we can do that, reflexology, Bach flower remedies, is actually going back into your heritage.
Yeah, absolutely. And then my mom has passed away 2 years ago, but she lent me so many books on magic. I mean, she was part of the Rosicrucians. She knew exactly how to do tarot. She knew how to write hands. She did also pendulum work. My gran was into the same things. So I suppose that's part of our journey in a way. You know, we're healers or witches or whatever you want to call it.
It's an interesting thing though that those words are semantically packed: magic, witches, and everybody thinks of the Wicked Witch of the West in Oz and things like that, or or whatever she was, the Easter, where, like, I can never make the two of them together. But actually, witch means wise woman, and magic is energy. And it's just about the words that we use.
Absolutely. And I love it even more using alchemy. How about we become
Alchemists. I love that word.
Alchemy is about ourselves. So we're able to actually master energy. I really believe that we'll master energy. We're able to bring forward all these things that we can manifest, not only health, but so many things that are out there available for us. But we seem to not believe that it's possible. So when we put that not belief, it's almost like we do this to ourselves. You know, it comes from the paradigm that everything has to be difficult, hard. We need to be given this.
Yeah, because you don't deserve it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the belief is the chatelaine with all the keys kept close. I have the keys, you're not getting them. I'm locking you into your belief. This is your prison. And it's one of those things that we have to pick the locks now. We have to pick the locks now because we are in a paradigm shifting area. And thought is a magical thing because it's energy. All thoughts are energy. And it's a chemical path. It's a synaptic route down a dendrite in your brain, which looks like a tree on its side. So next time you see a tree,
I know,
think that might be a brain of the earth. Certainly the lungs.
Anyway, well, absolutely, yeah. Well, we see planet. I mean, we are a holographic, you know, from the universe. Everything is just there reflected. We're mirrors constantly of each other. Everything, absolutely.
So anyway, Alexandra, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you on Thursday on the next meeting.
Yeah, thank you so much, Leslie, for allowing me this space to.
Oh, no, it was absolutely fascinating. Loved it.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to come and see you one day and have a treatment from you.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. Come into Circle and have a story. Come and do a storytelling with me.
Yes, definitely. Would love that.
See you again.
Yeah, see you.
Bye.